Alright, back inside the world's worst movie theater right now, and hard to believe we're almost to the top 10 worst movies of all time. Once we get done with this one, we will be there, so let's not waste any more time and just get right into it. So, my number 11 worst movie of all time is not just because of the movie itself. Believe me, the movie is bad enough on its own. It's what happened when I first saw this movie in the theater that also kind of adds to this being the 11th worst movie I've ever seen in my life. And that is, of course, DreamWorks' animated Sharktale. Of all the animated movies that DreamWorks has made, this is the bottom of the barrel for the worst thing they've ever done. They've made some bad movies. Boss Baby 2, Spirit Untamed. Can think of some other ones too, but Sharktale is the one that is just thinking about it again just brings back really bad memories. Again, not just because of the movie, but because of the story that I'm going to add to this. But Sharktale is a story about a young fish named Oscar, voiced by Will Smith, who falsely claims to have killed the son of a shark mob boss, played by Robert De Niro, to advance his own community standing. The son of the shark mob boss is played by Jack Black. Will Smith has a girlfriend played by Renee Zellweger. There's another fish that gets involved and wants to create this love triangle played by Angelina Jolie. Martin Scorsese plays his boss, and yeah, it's a bad movie. But notably, it's the second computer animated feature franchise, if you will. I guess you don't even want to call it that, because it didn't turn out to be the big hit that. I mean, it did turn out to be a big hit, but obviously it was not going to become the next big franchise like Shrek was. This was their second animated movie they had done after the Shrek movies, and yeah. It was a success. It got an Oscar nomination for Best Animated Feature for reasons that are beyond me, but yeah, that movie has not held up well over time, and yeah, the movie is bad. It's a bad movie on its own, but I've told this story before, time and time again. There's videos on here. Excuse me. There's videos on here where I've talked about why this is the worst movie I've ever seen, and the experience, one of the worst animated movies I've ever seen, and just what happened here. But I've got into full details on that. But if you want to see that, go ahead and hit the link up in the corner. But yeah, if you don't know the story, I'll be real quick on it. So I went to go see this movie when it came out, and I actually broke my finger watching this movie. It was my pinky finger. My finger had got caught on the railing for when you go up to the movie theater. I was going down to go to the bathroom, and my finger got caught in one of the things that holds the railing together, and I had no idea that my finger was broken. So I sat through the rest of the movie, and yeah, I was sitting there with my finger broken like that, and I was wondering why was it getting swollen? It's like bigger. Like, again, I had no idea it was broken until I left the movie theater, and then I realized, yeah, this isn't right, but this doesn't feel right. But luckily, there was a doctor's office right across the street from the movie theater, so I was able to get the things I needed to get the finger fixed. And so I had a splint that I wore for the month of October, and yeah, it was a very uncomfortable film experience, and that's part of the reason why I kind of hate this movie overall. But I've gone into much further details with the video that I did on the Reviewing Network Live. Like I said, I'll leave a link to it in the corner so you can go check that out. But besides that, the movie's just a terrible movie. It's just a bad film. The animation in this is unbelievably bad. This is the same studio that had just done the Shrek movies. And to go from the Shrek movies to this level of bad animation, it's just, I couldn't believe how bad the animation was and how bad it got worse as the time went on. The script is pretty bad. It's your typical story where you have this guy that thinks that, he needs to become this big popular guy in order to get what he wants in life, and yeah, and even if he's got to stretch the truth, and it's just like, this doesn't is it works if you have a good story to tell, but everything about what happens in this movie is just so generic. Don't even get me started on the terrible comedy in this movie. I mean, right from the beginning, you've got these terrible, terrible celebrity puns like Jessica Shrimpson and like here's Katie Current, Muscle Crowe, just these really terrible puns, and these are really bad puns. Because in a good DreamWorks animated movie like like Shrek or many other better movies, they would do these. They would at least be smart when it comes to comedy like this. But this is bad on the levels of Pinocchio, the 2022 Pinocchio movie, being like, let's call you Chris Pine, even though Chris Pine is somebody that doesn't even exist in this time period that Pinocchio set in. But yeah, the voice cast is also wasted too. You never buy into the chemistry between Will Smith and Renee Zellweger. Smith and Jack Black don't have a good chemistry either. Robert De Niro's just doing Robert De Niro. Martin Scorsese's just doing Martin Scorsese. Angelina Jolie is just being Angelina Jolie. Everyone's not playing a character. Everyone is just being a bland copy of themselves and what everyone expects them to be, and there's just nothing there in this movie. This is up there, like I said, this is up there with some of the worst movies DreamWorks Animation has ever done. This is right up, this is the absolute worst of the worst. And like I said, they've made some bad movies. Like I said, the Boss Baby movies, Turbo was pretty bad, Spirit Untamed, just recently Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate, which, and I know some of you are thinking, well, that wasn't released in theaters. That was a Peacock exclusive. They marketed it as the Megamind sequel, so I'm throwing it into this equation. Yeah, Sharktale, though, is easily the worst of the worst, and it was really the first bad CG animated movie release. That's the one where, I think everybody kind of like realized that, okay, maybe CG isn't completely ready to become the next form of animation that we can go to. Even though this was around the time when they were making big money overall, but at the same time, yeah, the movie itself is pretty bad. It's a terrible movie. It's like I said, one of the worst animated movies I've ever seen in my life. Easily the worst DreamWorks animated movie, and not just because I broke my finger watching it. It's just bad on so many levels. But Sharktale, my number 11 worst movie of all time. And so just like that, we get ready to head into the top 10 next week. So yeah, if you want to see what I think of the worst 10 movies I've ever seen in my life, start watching next week. But if you want to see what I had to say about the nut job last week, go ahead and hit that video there in the corner. Check out the playlist below, and I will see you guys next week. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care.